What's up? This is Bryce from Pros, and so this guy, he made this thing on a TV show. I don't really know what to call it, segment, I guess, where he is just acting like the stupidest. And I don't know if you guys can hear me, but yeah, he's acting like an idiot, or not acting, but says stupid things. And so I'm gonna let him talk, and then my incredibly awesome response will follow. So play.
Paying attention to it. But the thing that I want to talk to you here is the conversation that we're not having. And the conversation that we're not having as a culture is the role of the internet and the busyness of our lives, and these video games in particular.
Okay, so the reason we're not having that conversation is because there have been... It's like we don't need to have the conversation. I'm hoping the general human intelligence is smart enough to deduce that holding a 360 controller piece of molded plastic will not relate to shooting 10 people in the face.
Let me give you this story. A coroner has expressed great concern over the violent video game Call of Duty after 4 teenagers who regularly play.
Call of Duty, in terms of violence, is not that bad. I've played numerous worse games. BioShock Infinite, where you get the skyhook, you jam it up the guy's face, his head goes flying in the other direction. That's pretty gruesome. Call of Duty, you see red water spurt out. It's, yeah.
Went to kill themselves. John.
Now, this is all really sad. I don't mean that in any disrespect to the 4 kids who went to kill themselves. This is more of me talking about him.
Pollard claims the Certificate 18 game, which includes graphic scenes of soldiers killing each other, had featured in several inquests he had presided over. This is in England. He's a coroner. A warning came after.
Okay. Even so, like, I don't think Call of Duty leads to suicide. And, you know, I think these kids probably had some other mental issues, in which case their parents shouldn't be letting them play Call of Duty, a very, I'm not to contradict myself, but not exactly Elmo game.
After a hearing in the death of a schoolboy, William Menzies, who was always playing the game. That's in.
Okay, so, again, if you're playing a game about killing people, how does that relate to killing yourself? That kind of contradicts itself. And, like, you know, playing a game where you kill people, when you're playing the game, you're like, fun game, I'm not a psycho, so unless you are a psycho, in which case, don't play Call of Duty. I'm going to kill the person in real life. You don't think that. You say, after this, I'm going to turn it off, eat some chips, and go to bed, or whatever.
Quotation marks. The 16-year-old who was studying
when he said put it in quotation marks, it's probably a hyperbole.
Levels in biology, physics, politics, and psychology at one of Britain's top grammar schools had shown no signs of depression or distress before his sudden death. In March 2012, another teenager, Callum Green, hanged himself after playing Call of Duty with his stepfather. The game...
Okay, that kid who they said he hanged himself, if he's playing it with his stepfather, I think that indicates some mental disorder, because if you're playing a game with a friend, especially like your parents, you're generally not being super serious, like, good game, daddy, or whatever. You don't kill yourself. But this guy unfortunately did.
Had also been linked to the deaths of 2 other unnamed teenagers. Recording a suicide verdict at Williams' inquest, Mr. Pollard said, "I have to say, and this is after 3 or 4 inquests into deaths of teens, the Call of Duty game seems to be figuring in recent activity just before death."
Okay, so this was a statistical study thing. 98% of kids play video games. So when your But when everybody is doing something, you're going to find links to everything because your range is literally everybody. Like, sorry, just not very happy.
And it concerns me greatly. It is figured in a number of deaths, which I am investigating. I suspect, but I don't know because I don't have enough evidence, that William may have been experimenting with something or deliberately intending to do something, but I haven't got the evidence. There is no note or indication that he was feeling down or distressed.
Okay, if you don't have evidence, maybe it's best not to report on it. Pro tip.
At all. Call of Duty, produced by Activision, is a warfare game, blah, 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 blah. Sold 100 million copies around the world.
Okay, that really has nothing to do with what you're talking about. You're kind of getting off topic. Just saying.
But has been dogged by controversy with his violent content, criticized by the London Jewish Forum, the British Muslim Forum, and Church of England. Don't forget that, remember the massacre in Norway? Where 77 people were killed?
Again, I don't mean any disrespect to the people who were killed. That is tragic. I'm just saying, this guy needs to be more informed.
Do you remember what he said?
No.
He was trained to kill with Call of Duty and other video games.
Okay, I'm going to quote this from Rich from Review Tech USA. I'll leave a link to his video in the description, but what he said is, okay, so should we trust ourselves or the sociopath who killed those 77 people? I mean, obviously the sociopath. No, we're ourselves, because majority of us anyways, are not mentally insane.
Isn't it interesting that we immediately had the gun talk here in America?
You immediately had the gun talk because video games do not relate to, using guns, whatever, just keep talking.
We talked about the guns. Nobody talked about the 77 people that were killed by a guy who said, I was trained to kill by playing these video games.
Again, the guy was a sociopath. Why would you want to listen to what he said? Even, it's just, you get my point.
Now, try this. This is a story that is actually coming out of Montreal, and it's about Ubisoft, which is a software company for video games. They do Assassin's Creed, et cetera, et cetera. They have a new one that is coming out, and the new one...
It's a cool game, too. These games are so seductive.
These games are so seductive. Really. If you're talking about immersion, I can get just as immersed in a book, movie, TV show as a game. Like, when this past weekend, when I was marathoning the Batman movies, I wanted to put on a cape and jump off of a building into a thug. Of course I didn't, because I'm not insane, but that's immersion. You get hooked into this game, you get in the moment. It's not crazy if you get what I mean.
Really, really hard to ignore, really hard to stop playing.
Okay, if I'm playing a game and my sister says, can you help me with this? Or my parents are like, come do this. I can easily, I'm like, okay, just a second. I say just a second so I can pause the game, get up, get out. I don't say just a second so I can keep on playing because I can't stop playing.
I mean,
my
kids loved them.
They pay $250 million to develop these things. $250 million to.
Yeah. If you haven't noticed, These games take effort to make and really they take hard work and stuff to make, and yeah. So a budget is required. Movies take just as much, if not more. So, yeah, they take money. Deal with it.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they practice for 100 hours on them. They play them 100 hours.
Well, yeah, because you don't want somebody who just spent $60 hard-earned dollars to play it and it's a completely broken, bad game. Like, you want to make sure that it works and it's an enjoyable experience.
Hours in testing. All the people who are testing 100 hours. Think of that.
That's also their job. Well, not their job. They don't get paid for it, but it's their volunteer work. They're volunteering to play test. That is their duty since they themselves volunteered. Yeah, like, they're the ones who chose to do that, and I'm sure if they said, I don't want to do this, I have stuff to do, the developers would be like, sure, go do your stuff.
All right, Watchdog is a new one. It's called Watch Dogs, and their stock is going down because this particular game is late in its development, and they say they just don't have it right yet, but when they do, it's going to be the blockbuster game. I want you to listen to this.
It was a pretty blockbuster game. Everybody loves it.
Watch Dogs features a troubled anti-hero named Aiden Pierce. Now, an anti-hero. Have we not had enough? Can we have any heroes?
We have had many heroes in games, some exclusively to games. Like, you've got Mario, Sonic, those are really cartoony, but they're heroes, technically, per se. Batman in the Arkham games. All the Lego games have heroes. Nathan Drake, he's a hero. I guess it's more for his own personal game. Cross that off. Yeah, but I'm not even. Gordon Freeman, he's a hero. Shell from Portal, she pretty much destroyed an evil science testing thing.
Why must everyone be an anti-hero? Why must everyone break the law and do the thing? Why can't we have a Superman? Why can't we have...
If you did play Lego Batman 2, you did have a Superman, believe it or not.
Have somebody who is doing the right thing, does the hard
Again, all previous games mentioned.
thing. Instead, everybody is an anti-hero. A troubled anti-hero named Aiden Pierce, a Belfast immigrant bent on avenging the murder of his young niece, when he coincidentally uncovers the Big Brother-like Bloom Corporation. As a castigator of violence in the name of justice, Pierce takes the player on 50 missions through Chicago's autumn streets, back alleys, and decrepit housing project. A life-size poster of this conflicted protagonist looms on a conference room wall at Ubisoft. Pierce is clad in a trench coat, baseball cap, and a scarf that cover all but his menacing, judgmental eyes, while his obscured visage is meant to frighten, but it also can make him seem somehow paranoid. There's a reason for that. Watchdogs allow the players to hack into cell phones, ATMs, drawbridges, even helicopters. Through cameras and laptops and televisions, players can peer into someone's fictional files and bedrooms to wholly envelop the lives of others. The game's primary goal is to track down the killers of Aiden's niece and halt a potential evil of the all-seeing corporation. That's much apparent after several recent interviews with Ubisoft staff members and the exclusive 2-hour peek at the game. Anyway, the idea here is they're teaching you to hack and then become the ultimate voyeur.
Wait, Watch Dogs does not teach you how to hack. one bit. If I'm pushing Y on a controller, X on a controller, square on a controller, any button on a controller, I am pushing a button. I am not hacking anything. I am pushing a button. To hack things, you have to have vast knowledge of code, computers, and a lot of things, and it takes a lot of time. Also, okay, so most I saw British there for a second, most adults are sane enough not to even try that. And if you are a kid playing Watch Dogs, and that's okay, we're going to Bizarro World for a minute, where Watch Dogs teaches you how to hack. Adults are probably sane enough not to do it, and kids who do try to do it should probably, hopefully, fail when their parents catch them doing that.
In other people's lives, including their bedrooms, by hacking into their phones and everything that we talked about. When I said, hey, how many times you go to bed at night and have a conversation with your wife or other things at night, and you put your iPad or your phone in?
Okay, so I know that this is a bit not family-friendly, or mostly family-friendly channel, but when he said other things, can you not say the word sex on TV? Just saying.
The docking station right there at the edge of your bed. This game is teaching people to hack in.
Again, it is not teaching
to whatever is docked in your bedroom. What the heck is wrong with us? What?
Absolutely nothing, because pushing X is not going to teach me how to hack stuff.
What is wrong with us?
Well, there's something wrong with you, clearly, because you think all of this is true.
What are we thinking? We are inviting this into our home and our lives. We are teaching our kids for entertainment purposes.
Wait, we're not teaching our youth. I am a kid. If I did know how to hack, I'd be like, cool, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get in trouble. And if a kid did learn how to hack from Watch Dogs, again, Bizarro World, they should be stopped by their parents or guardians.
Last night I had a conversation with Rafe, and he said, Dad, Mom listened to your show, and she's already talked to me. And I said, I know. Now, he's not playing video games at home. He's playing video games when he goes to his friend's house. No video games.
Okay, so there are a lot of reasons. I don't blame this guy for not letting his kid play video games. Because, you have to pay for the consoles, and games aren't exactly the cheapest pastime. So if anybody's saying, why don't you let your kid, that's probably a good reason, I'd say.
And, you just kind of get worn down. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Stop seeing friends? Stop going over to people's houses? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Hopefully he doesn't do that to his kid, because that's like the beginning of Frozen, and she became a paranoid shut-in.
And that's the way we felt. And we get worn down and we get tired just like you do. And we want to believe that it's somehow or another going to be different. Somehow or another it's going to be okay. It's just not our kid.
It will be okay. Your video games have been proven to actually help in cooperation and a lot of things like that. So it's probably going to be better if he plays games at his friend's house, especially at his friend's house, because it's most likely multiplayer, so he'll have better cooperation and teamwork skills.
I can't tell you that. I don't know. It could be your kid, could be Pat's kid, could be Stu's kid, could be mine. I don't know. Could be all of them. We don't know. And I sat down and I said, son, these games rewire your brain.
No, they okay, so again, going back on the immersion topic, they may rewire them for the amount of playtime. The second you put that controller down, life comes flooding back into you, and you're like, I'm gonna go get those chips now. And if they do rewire your brain in any way, it's like I said, help you in numerous ways. Look it up. It's late. I don't want to.
Why, we don't even know what they do yet. This is brand new stuff.
Yes, video games are so brand new that they've been around for, and they've been mainstream for, I don't know, about 30 years. So brand new, I know.
Told you yesterday that just reading your books on a reader changes the way you remember things. We are.
Okay, I do have to give this guy credit. He did bring up the books, so he's not targeting just video games. He's also targeting books. Yeah.
Losing vital information, and you know this to be true if you use a reader instead of a hardbound book. When you use a reader,
actually, I take that back. Yeah, he pretty much hates all of technology ever, and he wants to go to a world where we all live by, helping Farmer Joe.
You no longer, nothing looks different. You have no tactile memory. You also you can remember. You can pick up a book. And you can say, oh, I remember this was in this book. Hang on, let me find it. And you can find it. Try to do that with your reader. Try to, if you haven't highlighted, try.
I know friends who can do that and not that long.
Try to find something in your reader. You can't. Because you
and yes, that was a proven fact, I know.
Have no idea in the book where you saw it. Because you don't pick up the book and dog-ear the pages. You don't pick up the book and know where you are, know what it felt like, whether you're at the beginning of the book or the end of the book. And it is harming just our memory to be able to recall. It's not good. My son looked at me and he said, well, Dad, you're always on the iPad. You're answering emails and stuff. And I almost said to him, I have to. And I stopped.
That is a perfectly legitimate answer. And you shouldn't have stopped because you stopped because you knew when you said that your entire argument would go away. I have to. Then it's like, well, then you need technology. E-readers, you can access your email on e-readers like iPads, and not sure about Kindles. I think you can. But yeah, that's why you stopped. You didn't stop because whatever, I haven't seen this full thing yet, but for whatever stupid reason, you didn't stop because that. You stopped because you knew it would prove all of this wrong.
I said, you're right. You're right.
And even then, that kid must be pretty smart. Just saying you're right. I'm not going to say it goes against the entire argument he's trying to make, but a good, decent portion of it.
Everybody wants to talk about guns. Everybody.
They want to talk about guns because I'm not asking. Gun control is not good at all. Okay. Does the bullet come out of the gun or the controller? Think about that. Yeah. But again, I don't want gun control. But does the bullet come out of the gun or the controller?
Everybody wants to talk about Hollywood movies. Everybody wants to talk about the guys who made these video games.
Okay, yeah. Movies, like, they're not harming people, and he makes a decent. Actually, he does say a good thing where he's like, everybody that wants to talk about the guys who made these games, it's not their fault. And I'm like, that's true.
It's not their fault. It's not their fault. Well, yes. Listen to what Pat said. Yes, it's really hard to avoid them. Listen to what I said. Where they're going to find.
Well, yeah, it's really hard to avoid them because games like GTA 5 that are massive, not in scope, but like in marketing. Again, when that game was big, you couldn't walk like 10 feet without seeing a new ad for it. So, yes, it is impossible to avoid them.
They're going to find them anyway. Really hard to avoid. And then once you start, it's hard to put them down.
No, it is not. I can put down my game at any point. I'll pause it, say, be there in a second, get up, and walk over there. It's not hard to put it down.
Yeah, so is crack cocaine.
Okay, so now we're comparing video games, a relatively, if not entirely harmless medium of fun to an illegal drug substance. At least I think crack is illegal. It should be anyways. Yeah. Listen to yourself. Are you listening to what you're saying?
Listen to us. It's not just about...
But you need to listen to yourself. You sound like an idiot.
The video games. Try to suggest to your spouse that we get rid of our cell phones.
Okay. If you try to convince someone to get rid of their cell phone, they're not going to say, "No, I'm addicted to it, please." They're going to say, "No, I need to talk to people. It's for my work." Or, "Yeah, because I totally want to carry around those big blocky things whenever I want to text my kid and tell him heat up dinner."
Try it. That you shut them off. Say start at a month. See if you can even negotiate to a week.
Again, the previous, it's not just stuff.
It's worse than saying to somebody, "You know what, let's just all stop smoking."
Probably should stop smoking because it's ruining your lungs and giving you lung cancer. Again, it's not... I haven't personally smoked, but from what I hear from my grandparents and stuff, it's an addiction that's hard to put off, so just try.
Let's stop having coffee. We're addicted, and we're so fearful that we think we can't do it. We're so fearful that there's...
Okay, I once had the bet where they're like, "Okay, do not use your computer for a week or two." I said, "Okay, guess who won that bet? Me. It is not impossible to put it down."
Going to be an email that I'm going to miss. There's going to be something that happens.
That email could be crucial. That email that you're going to miss could be so many things. You got the job from a job interview. You missed that email. Not that good. Or they might just call you, but you wouldn't be able to answer the call. It could be just so many things and that could be the most important email of your life. And you say, "Oh, I'm going to miss an email." Yeah, you're going to miss that email, and that's not good because think of all the things you could miss. Now, I'm not saying if you're having time with your family and you see an email, do not go over into the corner into the fetal position and start typing. 9.9 times out of 10, it's not going to be the most important email of your life, but it could happen.
I'm connecting with all of these friends from Facebook, friends that I haven't talked to in years. Well,
That's good. You're reconnecting with friends that you haven't talked to in a while. That's a good thing.
You did pretty well without those friends that you haven't talked to in years. Is it not?
I know this is going to make me sound like some dumb friendship advertising thing, but would it really hurt to have one more friend? Just saying.
Nice to reminisce? Yeah. Used to be called a reunion. You'd get together once a year.
Well, okay, so before I had a Skype account, I would only see my cousins, and I'm really good friends with my cousins, about 3 times a year, and we'd always say, I wish I could talk to you more. And they're like, "Yeah, I do." Then I got a Skype account, and we talked a ton, and it was awesome. So, yeah, it's pretty nice to have it.
Is it nice to connect? Yes. Is it required to connect? No. Is it
human connection is pretty important. Like, if you don't have any human interaction, bring up the frozen thing again, you're going to become a paranoid shut-in.
Necessary to connect? No. Is it required to connect to your family? Yes. Is it necessary to connect to your family? Yes. Is it necessary to have quiet time to reflect? Yes. We don't have any. Paying attention.
Whoops. I don't know, that. Okay, is it good to have quiet time to reflect? Yes. Do we have any? No. Yes, we do. So you're telling me when you are laying in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and all those thoughts of the day that has just passed are just whizzing through your head, that does not give you time to think. That does not, of course that doesn't give you time. I mean, why would it? You're just doing absolutely nothing but thinking. Of course that's not quiet time.
Required to connect? No. Is it necessary to connect? No. Is it required
Sorry, I went back. I'm not.
to connect to your family? Yes. Is it necessary to connect to your family? Yes. Is it necessary to have quiet time to reflect? Yes. We don't have any.
Okay, so all in all, yeah. I'm pretty speechless. I mean, I would hope that most humans know that video games are not the devil anymore and are actually widely considered to be an art form. But apparently this guy thinks that they are Satan and convinces kids to kill themselves and other people. So, yeah. Thanks for watching this really long video. This has been Bryce from Triforce Gaming Pros, and I'll see you guys later.